on the show this morning. Let's start with you, Maggie. What is the Link Literacy Project? And the question that I asked myself, can I do this? Would I be effective? I don't have any experience. Over to you.
Hi, thank you, Julie. Yes, so we are a complete volunteer organization. I've been involved with the Link since 2011. It started in 2010. You do not have to be a teacher to join the Link Literacy Project. We do training. Obviously, recently we have changed to online training. And we have a system that we use that has been created by a language expert specifically for South African children. And we have 19 centers at the moment. 17 are open. Well, one or two will be open by the second term. We work with grade 2 learners, and they are all, English is their second language. They are at English medium primary schools, but their home language is not English. And we feel that in grade 2, they should have the basics of the sounds, not the names of the letters, the sounds of the letters, so that we can then help them to unlock the key to reading. But obviously with COVID, so with COVID and everything, we are working slightly differently. We are working, the majority of our children at all our centers, in fact, don't know any sounds, and they are in grade 2. So yes, Julie, please come aboard. I'm sure Mehfooza would love to have you at Fortsburg or any center that is close to you. We are recruiting. We have lost a lot of volunteers. We try to work one-on-one, one volunteer with a child, but at the moment our numbers are just desperate. So
I'm going to come back to you in a minute or two, Maggie. Let's go to Mehfooza. You refer to here as Mehfooza Hussain, center manager and volunteer. So what center are we referring to here, Mehfooza? And let's also understand, how did you become involved with this project?
Hi, Julie, and assalamu alaikum to your listeners. So what has happened is I actually saw an ad on Facebook, and I said, I have a grade 2 learner at home. My daughter's in grade 2. I have a grade 4.
Wow.
And I see how important the need is to read. So let me give back 2 hours of my time to getting somebody else to read. I only actually joined this year. I then attended the training online, and I then went into the Residale Center and saw things happening for myself. I also got to participate in some of the assessments and all of that. And that's when I then heard that the center in Fortsburg is actually not running at the moment because the center manager previously who had been running it has moved on. So then I put up my hand and I said, okay, I'm willing to take on this responsibility to let's get this center running, seeing the need that it is in just
Okay, I lost you there, Mehfooza. I'll come back to you in a minute. Maggie, back to you. Here I am sitting and thinking that I want to give back to the community. How am I going to give back? But I also have to say, as much as this is sounding very appealing to me, I'm not a very patient person. So would I be the right fit for something like this, Maggie?
I think anybody, I truly believe anybody can do it. Once you have spent one session with a child, and the sessions are 45 minutes long, and then you have a bit of a break and you recoup yourself, and then the next session happens. Once you spend time with the child and you see them connect with you, for a lot of these children, it's actually not about the reading. It's not about the learning the sounds. It's about having somebody giving them some time, somebody valuing them, somebody hearing them, somebody being present for them. And the learning happens after that. Happy children or children who feel safe can learn. So it's amazing. And some of our volunteers also come in and say, I'm not a patient person, but you're not patient with your own children, but for some reason with other people's children and children who you can see desperately need you. Your patience is eternal. It's so rewarding to do it. And when you get to the end of a year and you see the progress that the children you're working with have made, you actually can't wait to get back to the next year. So for us, these last 2 years have been heartbreaking, knowing that we're just losing so many children. So,
Okay.
Julie, you can do it. Yeah.
All right.
Really, I
Mehfooza, back to you. Back to you, Mehfooza. How long does the online training take? I mean, how many hours or how many weeks will it take? And who's going to tell me, who's going to assess myself and a whole host of other people watching the program this morning and feel that they want to give back? And this sounds like something they'd like to do. So talk us through that process.
So there was two parts to the training, Julie. The first part was if you want to conduct assessments, so that you needed to go into training for that. So they show you how to assess a child to be able to determine if that child qualifies to be part of the Link program. And the second training was the actual training of conducting the training when you go into the schools, the 45-minute sessions of how to assist a learner to read and get acquainted with the sounds. So that was just 2 hours. So basically it's 2 different days, 1 hour on one day and 2 hours on another day in order to get the training for this.
And the assessment, how will people know? So let's assume that you have a group of 10 or more people that sign up for the program. Maggie, let me direct this question to you. And they go through the 1 hour and then the 2 hour training. How are you going to assess that they are the right fit for this voluntary work? Because clearly it's voluntary. You just don't want to take anybody off the street, so to speak, who want to be probably occupied for 2 hours per week. You want to know that they're going to make a meaningful difference.
Absolutely. So the 1 hour training that Mehfooza was talking about for the assessments is only at the beginning and the end of the year. And we generally use more experienced volunteers for that, who know the system and understand it. But this year was different. The 2 hour training that people do online. And then what we do is when they come, so we then tell them the centers, that we let them know where all the different centers are in the area, in the Greater Johannesburg area. Then they choose a center and they go to that center. And for the first day or two that they're there, they then pair up with an experienced volunteer and see how it's done, and then decide if this is for me or if not for me. And sometimes a new volunteer will then do a session on their own for the first time, and at the end of that, they actually realize this isn't for me, and that's absolutely fine. Teaching little children is different, yeah. So it's very much up to the person themselves. The center managers have got a good feel about people as well, and I think because, as you've said, it is volunteer or voluntary, there is no payment at all. It is giving time. Different people join up.
Okay, I'm going to ask Maggie, but you can respond to me after the ad break. What does your ideal candidate look like? I'm thinking perhaps matriculants who haven't yet decided what they're going to be doing, out of unemployed people who want to be occupied for 2 hours a week. Males, females, age group, etc. So just mull over that for a minute or two while we pay the rent.
Joining hands, Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda. When bombs rained down on Gaza, Islamic Relief responded immediately with life-saving aid. When the cameras left, we remained to rebuild the shattered lives. We believe that not only fools, but that Allah knows it. You too can help Islamic Relief rebuild Gaza. Donate today at www.islamic-relief.org.za. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Okay, we have about 8 minutes to wrap up the show this morning, and I am speaking with two amazing ladies. They are Maggie Fussel. She is a qualified remedial teacher and coordinator for the Link Literacy and Numeracy project. Also, Mehfooza Hussain, who is a mommy, and she's also the center manager and volunteer for this program. Before I get back to you, Maggie, let me just ask Mehfooza a question. How long have you been doing this? How are you finding it? Do you believe it's made a difference? Also, apart from the children that you're involved with, in the interaction with your own children, for example?
Um, I haven't been much involved. It's just been 2 months now, about a
Oh,
month or so that I've been involved in the program. I have seen a difference in the sense that I've witnessed already few assessments. I've done the one day where we did actually do the actual 45-minute program with the students, and I've already seen that in itself, also the patients that, like you say, I'm also not a patient person. So it also made me realize that to not take advantage, to actually enjoy the moments when my little girl reads, because it's such a gift that we actually take for granted, because we know how to do it so easily, that it comes so easily to us. And then actually my children sit down and read. It actually like says, it's like it's a gift. That few minutes that you get out of them doing this, it's really a gift. And I really think that the more people that join, and people who come and see what is actually happening on the ground, will really be inspired by what is actually going on, and will actually want to be part of this.
okay, Maggie, back to you and response to my question before the ad break.
Sorry, I just have to say, I just love Mehfooza's response of she's addicted to what we're doing already. It's just,
Wow.
it is, yeah. So volunteers, the center I work at HHJ Primary School in Highlands North. We often will have students who are having to do community service during their holidays, because holidays might be different. They join us. It's anybody really who is prepared to give the time to do the training, and then to do that day of, or that morning. And the centers have got different times, different days. But it really is, there is no specific person, there's no ideal volunteer. The ideal volunteer is a person who puts their hand up and says, I want to do this. So, yeah, there is no, and we have elderly people, we have younger people, we have a few men. We also have a numeracy project which runs, and there seem to be more men in the numeracy project who come to help. A lot of them are retired. And again, you don't have to be good at maths to do the numeracy project. It's all just, it's very basic, it's very simple, and there's always somebody there to hold your hand and to guide you and to support you.
Okay, Maggie. So, for people who volunteer, go through the training, then choose a center that is conveniently close to their homes or whatever. Do you pair them up with a particular child, and are they going to be working with that child for the rest of the school year, or do you move about from, child to child, different children?
No. So once the volunteer has said they want to stay on with us, the center managers generally do pair them up with a child, or at the moment it's 2 or 3 children, and you work consistently with that child throughout the year. Obviously, sometimes there are personality clashes between the volunteer and the child, and that's the reality of it, and we don't want to push it. So if a volunteer feels that they really can't work with a child, they will move the child. When centers are open more than one day, a different volunteer might see the child on the second day, but we write up at the end of every session, we have books, and we write up what we have done with that child. So if, for instance, I'm away next week and someone takes my child, they can read and say, right, Maggie did these sounds, she did this game, so that there is continuation, that there isn't repetition. Or if you've noticed something about the child, you put a note there, and then the center managers will liaise with the teacher that they are working, or they're liaising with at the school. So it's, as I said, it's not only about reading, it's about the welfare and the well-being of the children as well. That is also very important to us. Yeah.
Okay, so where are your centers? And I'm wondering, is this at schools or at community centers? Because I'm just wondering about getting there or getting the children to a community center or a school. Just give us the logistics on that issue.
Yeah. So all our centers, bar one, are at primary schools. So the program is run in the morning. And we have got from Diepsloot, Orange Farm, all the way through to, we've got a school in Germiston, to Fordsburg, Central Schools, Salvazione in Melville. We've got a few in the Melville area. We've got a few in the Orange Grove, Norwood area. So it's just choosing a school. And then we have got one center that is at the Tag Center, and it's got another name, and it's opposite the Riyad Musa Hospital. And that's an afternoon program. And we have had UJ students who are involved in the community project helping us there. So that is our afternoon one, but all the other ones are in the morning, depending. Some start at 8 till 10, some are a bit later. So they are actually in primary schools, and the children are then sent to us from the teachers. After we've done the assessment, we then assess who are the children that we need. And at this stage, all the centers are working with the weakest of weak children who literally, as I said, some of them know one or two of their sounds, and they are in grade 2. So
how does the time taken out for this literacy program, you're suggesting it's 2 hours, how does it impact on the child's other work that gets interrupted while he or she is attending this literacy program? And you're a remedial teacher, you'd be the right person to respond to that.
It's such a funny question, because for all of us, the reality is that child is sitting in the classroom in grade 2, is unable to read. So they've got their DBE workbook in front of them, and the teacher says, read here. The child physically can't read. So we take them out, and it's a 45-minute session that they each have. They don't have, there's 2 45-minute sessions. Okay. So in that 45 minutes, yes, they're not in class, but when they're in class, they truly are not learning. They're not getting any benefit. And the fact that they can't read is probably impacted more by the fact, by being in class there than sitting with us. And for some of them, the improvement all of a sudden is remarkable, that all of a sudden by the end of 6 or 8 weeks, they've got all their sounds, but we then continue with them. So they're missing out in class time, but they're actually not missing out in learning. And
Absolutely. Okay. We've almost come to the end of the show. Mehfooza, your final thoughts regarding the program. Are you pleased that you're involved? And how do you convince other people to come on board as well?
I'm very, very pleased that I'm on board. I'd like people to just come out and have a look. Like Maggie says, just come and see for yourself.
Oh, good.
Okay. I've lost you there, Maggie. Let me come back to you.
Will really fill your cup.
Okay, we lost you there for a minute. Do you just want to recap what you were saying, Mehfooza?
I said, I think people need to come.
No, sorry, we're losing you. Maggie, do you want to come in and just finish what Mehfooza was trying to say? And also give us a website address for people to maybe, read up more about what what Link is all about.
Absolutely. So I think Mehfooza was saying, just come to a center, see what it's about, and you will be back. You'll do the training and you will join us, and we will be eternally grateful. And this platform and this being able to just get our name out there is huge gratitude for that. So the best thing to do is to go on to www.thelinkLiteracyProject.co.za, and there is all the information is there, and people can then link. They can send emails, and our PR lady will get back to you. Her name is Nicole Ellison, and she can get back to you, or she will refer you on to a center manager. And there's a map there that shows the different centers, so you can have a look at that. As I said, we've had a lot of changes with center managers, and we have heroes like Mehfooza, who's taken over Fordsburg. That is a new center. It only started in 2018 and doing the most beautiful work. So it's just making contact with somebody and joining the team, and you'll never look back. Yeah.
Great.
And we look forward to seeing you there too, Julie.
Yeah, thinking about it very seriously. Thank you indeed, and keep up the amazing work. Mehfooza, final thoughts from you.
Just everybody, please come out, come and support any any center, and just come give back your time. We're looking forward
Okay,
to seeing you all.
right. Can't wait to meet up with you guys. This an NGO or an NPO, Maggie?
I'm new to this. I think it's an NGO because the process
Okay.
of becoming an NPO was more difficult. So we have sponsors and fundraisers, and yeah, all we work on donations completely 100%. We have one or two big donors. Rotary is one, and then there are private people as well. So it is all on donations that we work completely. Yeah.
Okay, good work. God bless Maggie and Mehfooza. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your du'as and your efforts, inshallah. And let's hope a whole host of people, by way of this program, decide that this is what they need to be doing to give back to their communities. Go well, Maggie, and salam alaikum to Mehfooza.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's it for me for the show this morning. A very big thank you from my producer, and that is, of course, Nasreen Naidu and myself. Please do remember the COVID protocols and also take care on the roads. Till tomorrow morning at the same time as always, it is Salamu Alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.